This is Discover Crypto. We bring you crypto news 5 days a week, live every Monday through Friday, and we bring you crypto content 7 days a week. And we have a huge show for you today. We got to talk about Kevin Warsh. Who is Kevin Warsh? What is Kevin Warsh's background? Why is he replacing Jerome Powell? And what does this mean for the markets? What does this mean for Bitcoin? So we're going to do the extensive deep dive on Kevin Warsh. This is going to be your one-stop shop for everything about this new Fed chair. And I'm going to tell you the impacts on the markets. We're also going to look at the Bitcoin charts. We did get a major dump. And then there's huge news for Cardano holders. This is from Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano and the co-founder of Ethereum. Welcome from Japan. Just signed integration agreement with USDC. So we have USDC coming to Cardano. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on today. We're going to maybe look at the precious metals markets if we got a little bit of time and put in your altcoin. We're going to chart some altcoins as well. We're going to look at Ethereum. So thank you for joining, everybody. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up CoinGecko for you here. And look, let's just see where the markets are heading. Because right now, yeah, you can see 2.6% change for the total crypto market cap. Scroll down, Bitcoin down 3.3%, ETH down 4.4%, XRP down 3.2%. We keep scrolling. Cardano, even with the USDC integration, down 3.1%. And we keep going here. I want to look at Chainlink down 3.2%, and Hype is down 10% after blasting up this week. Might be time to start loading up on some Hype. If you missed the entry near $20, I want to say 22. Let's go to the 7-day. We'll see here 21.96, 21.77. So it hit 22. A lot of traders expecting it to hit 20. Did not hit that low. Got really close, but not quite that close. And so if this is a potential entry zone for you, if you're looking at Hype. Now, I do want to show you the liquidation heat map. Bitcoin is showing signs that it does want to head to the upside. You can see a lot of traders did get in a short. We're going to open up the Discord. The Discord printed some shorts for us. A lot of take profits are getting hit. Been a while for a loss on any of those trades there. Let's get back into the Bitcoin chart. This is the 20-minute. Talk about the 10 a.m. manipulation. Today, actually not half bad. This is 10 a.m. candle right here. Today, one of the most normal days I've seen in the markets for the 10 a.m. candle. And if you want any indication, I mean, this is yesterday right here, the second candle into the dump. That's 10 a.m. So when you're looking here, not half bad, but you're going to see a trend line below. What is that? Let's go to the 4-hour. We were talking about the bull divs, and I warned you, chat. I warned you. I said on the 1 hour, expect more bull divs. You know, one or two, probably not going to be enough. You're going to need to go down a couple times, roll into the 4-hour, and we are starting to see, I would say this is pretty solid hidden divergence for Bitcoin. So this is suggesting maybe Bitcoin potentially finding a bottom. And if we maybe go to the 12-hour here for Bitcoin on the liquidation heat map, little bit of pain below us. Actually, maybe a lot of pain. We can move the highlight, make it look a little less scary there, but there is going to be probably a washout towards 81,900, maybe 82,000. And we go to the charts, you're going to see this is right below the swing lows. Let me hide this RSI. 80 is going to be right below here, maybe entertaining in this area right there. So below here, below where we're at. So keep an eye out on Bitcoin. Heading into the weekend might be a little bit hairy if you're going to be trying to trade the markets. But I tell you what's hard to trade. It is very difficult to trade gold. Is this you? Is this your... this is the gold trade. Hey, maybe selling spot gold, spot silver, not as easy as people were making it seem. Boomers discovering you can't Venmo gold when S hits the fan. I got one more meme for you here. This one's messed up. I don't even know if I should have showed you this one. When you remember your grandma has a gold tooth. Tough times out there for folks, man. You know it's rough when you're going after Granny. Leave Granny alone. Let's talk about Kevin Hassett. We're going to, like I said, this is going to be your ultimate deep dive. Who is he? What is his background? What's the connection with his father-in-law and Donald Trump? Some interesting facts about his father-in-law. And yes, this man married into the Estee Lauder fortune. His wife is Estee Lauder's granddaughter. So I have the ultimate breakdown. You're not going to see this anywhere else. But everybody, smash that like button. Catch the Paul. How are you doing today? Morning, everybody. Meme coins killed crypto. Someone's blaming Melania coin. Maybe the Melania movie's gonna make it go back up. I don't know. I don't know. I would not try to front run a Melania movie meme coin pump though. I would maybe short Melania before I would try to long that. Yeah, in the hoodie again. It is casual Friday, folks. It is cold outside, very cold outside. So yeah, I'm taking it a little casual today. I did have a lot of sinus issues from the dry air, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. Why are we not in the studio no more? This is the studio. We are here, and we're just going to be bringing you the content. I'm in the office, and Drew changing his office. I'm giving you a little bit of a sneak peek here. I'm also questioning Athena. A lot of people talking about Athena. We could probably pull up the Athena altcoin charts. Just reminding me when we start pulling up the altcoin charts here. Audio quality. Fix your mic. What's going on here? Did I have a issue with the mic? I'll look into that real quick. Edit the mic settings. Should be good. Should be good. Seeing good mic. Audio is terrible. Underwater. What happened? What happened? All right, let's look at this. Maybe it sounds a little bit better here. All right. So I do have an audio playing, and I'm gonna try to find it for you real quick, folks. Here. I love when an audio plays totally randomly. I'm just gonna close the entire window. Oh my god. That was It was the gold bug video. If you were wondering, it was the gold bug video. Now we have it. That should sound a lot better. The audio is trying to pull up. Breathe. Night. Yeah, it should sound good now. Should sound good. I didn't realize having that. I didn't even have my headphones on. It was funny. I was debating. Hey, I think I might wear no headphones, and then immediately punished. But let's talk about Kevin Hassett. Kevin Hassett. Very, very interesting choice for the Fed chair. So Trump picks Kevin Warsh. I said Hassett. Kevin Warsh. It was the battle of the Kevins, but now we're good to go here. Should be. All right, so let's roll right into it. Who is Kevin Warsh? Well, this is Trump's comment. Trump made a post on his social media account. It's right here. It's a little bit longer, but we're going to show part of it here, and it's mostly what he said at the bottom. As a lot of people very, very interested here. So we have the quote from that. I have known Kevin for a long period of time and have no doubt he will go down as one of the great Fed chairmen, maybe the best. On top of everything else, he is central casting, and he will never let you down. Now we're going to focus on the central casting narrative. I think it's common knowledge at this point that a lot of people say Donald Trump likes people that look good on TV. This kind of fits into that theme, and I might ask you a question about his appearance a little bit later. Not to make fun of, just kind of curious. We're going to do some physiognomy, everybody. So that's Donald Trump's thoughts. But who is he? Who is this Fed chair pick? What is his background? There he is, looking stylish in his shades. We do like that. So the guy is 55 years old. He grew up in upstate New York. He has a bachelor's degree in public policy from Stanford, a law degree from Harvard University. He spent 7 years as a Wall Street banker at Morgan Stanley. He would then later join the Bush administration. Junior, not senior. George W. Bush, not George H.W. Bush. He joined Bush's inner circle of economic policy advisors in 2002. This is going to be on the heels of 9/11. That same year, he married Jane Lauder, an executive at Estee Lauder and an heiress to one of America's wealthiest families. Warsh's father-in-law, this is going to be Jane's father, Ronald Lauder, is a former classmate of Trump's and a major Republican donor. All right, so now it is time for us to take a left turn. Let's dive into Ronald Lauder just briefly. I got 3 fun facts for Ronald Lauder. I don't want to go too deep. One, very serious looking guy here. Very serious looking guy. Fun fact number 1, his mother was Estee Lauder. She's a very influential businesswoman. I think Time is the list of the 20 most influential business geniuses of the 1900s. She was the only woman on the list of 20 people. So his mom, very famous. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, and he's very active in his religious community. He's very active with State Department activities as well. Fact number 2, though, Lauder, imagine this being your father-in-law. Kevin Warsh's father-in-law has the world's largest private collection of medieval and Renaissance armor. This is also going to include weaponry. I've seen some photos. So if you've seen axes, battle axes that's at the Knights of the Round Table or Knights of Templar use this axe to crush a infidel, or you see some random sword with a jewel helm, this guy has the world's largest weapons and armor collection from the medieval and Renaissance period. So you want to talk about an intimidating, oh, so heard you want to date my daughter. Meanwhile, the guy has a guillotine behind him, a bunch of knights wearing armor. You don't know if there's a person in there or not. You just know it's holding a battle axe. Oh, yeah, so you're going to date my daughter, huh? Where are you going to take her tonight? So this is the backdrop of this man's father-in-law here. Final fun fact for Ron Lauder here. Where we have it right here. Lauder pitched the idea for Donald Trump to buy Greenland in 2019. So the genesis of U.S. should buy Greenland come from Kevin Warsh's father-in-law. And if you do an even deeper dive in this, Lauder, the Lauder family has mineral rights and other business rights in Greenland. So, maybe pumping his own bag there. So that's his father-in-law. Let's get back over to Kevin Warsh here. At age 35, Kevin Warsh was the youngest person to join the Fed in the central bank's history. So we're talking about one of a wonderkind here. Now, after Warsh's term as a Fed governor ended, he joined Stanford's right-leaning Hoover Institution. I've already done some deep dives, so we're not going to do another deep dive in Hoover Institution, but very interesting institution, a lot of ties to the D.C. inner circles. Now, Janet Yellen's term wound down in 2017. Warsh was identified as one of the finalists for the job. He was then rejected by Trump because Trump found the 47-year-old Warsh too youthful looking, so going back to central casting. He waited for him to age a little bit. He needed some pepper. He needed a little pepper on the sidelines there. Maybe he needed that 4-head to turn it to a 5-head. And now he's like, all right, now the people that watch Fox Business News, that watch CNBC or MSNBC, now maybe these people will take this guy a little bit more seriously, a little bit more credibility here. Now, Trump would instead select Jerome Powell. So this guy was rejected for Jerome Powell 7 years ago. Now, Powell quickly became a thorn in Trump's side by raising interest rates when Donald Trump thought they should fall. And so that's a little bit of a backdrop right there. This is the entirety of Donald Trump's message, basically just kind of doing some of the greatest hits. He went to Harvard, he went to Stanford, he studied under Stanley Druckenmiller over at this family office, youngest Fed. So a lot of the same stuff we were saying here. And then I've known Kevin for a long time, and he will no doubt go down as one of the great Fed chairmen, maybe the best. That's the Trumpiest Trump comment I've ever seen in my life. He will go down as one of the great Fed chairmen, maybe the best. Now, on top of everything else, he's central casting, and he'll never let you down. Sounds like a ad for, I don't know, oil for your car or something. They'll never let you down. What's this, a Brawny paper towel ad? I don't know what's going on here. But so Trump is championing this guy for the markets. Now, Trump picking crypto-friendly Kevin Warsh as the new Fed chair. Now, he nominated him. What's the Bitcoin angle here? So now it's setting the stage, or what's the next step? The next step, high-stakes Senate confirmation battle. This is not a done deal. Presumably, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Because of the father-in-law, the power of the father-in-law, I actually think this guy's a shoo-in. I think he's going to be a shoo-in. You look into, the Lauders, they touch both sides of the aisle. Maybe I could have used a different phrase there, but they have their tentacles since they have financial interests with a lot of politicians here. Now, Warsh served on the Fed board 2006 2011, and he's since been a frequent critic of ultra-loose monetary policy. He also called for a regime change at the Fed and questioned its post-crisis balance sheet expansion. So let's sum that up. This guy is potentially against expanding the balance sheet, which is going to be good for risk on assets. And he's against ultra-loose monetary policy, meaning he doesn't want runaway inflation, which is also good for asset prices. That's why we're seeing basically everything dumped. Market reaction to Warsh news. It doesn't matter what you look at. You saw it go down. If you see something go up, it's because it's going down. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the 10-year yield. The 10-year yields, basically the cost of these treasuries are going down. So the yield is going up. And so this is essentially people betting on, I don't know if the America could pay me back. So people are demanding higher yields. Gold went down. Bitcoin went down. The other thing, surprisingly, I will say there is one outlier here. That's you see a couple things go to the upside. You see the blue and the teal go to the upside. DXY is the teal. So people are, definitely betting on this guy holding down the fort when it comes to the US dollar. Definitely thinks he's going to bring down inflation. So we did bring up the value of the DXY, but if you're an American investor in Bitcoin, DXY going up means Bitcoin going down a lot of the times there. So Warsh has been noticeably more upbeat on Bitcoin, though, than Powell. In a July discussion hosted by that same Hoover institution, Warsh rejected the notion that Bitcoin would weaken the Fed's ability to steer the economy, arguing instead that it could act as a form of market discipline. So he sees Bitcoin as a check on the US dollar, more so than what we saw from Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell, oh, don't even think about Bitcoin. No, we don't care about Bitcoin. This guy is saying, hey, it is good to have a check on the US dollar because Warsh, very interested in inflation. Now, selection comes as traders already been repricing risk assets, including Bitcoin, around the prospect of a more hawkish Fed. Gold advocate Peter Schiff argued the crash in gold and silver today. He's saying, oh, it had nothing to do with Kevin Warsh. Even the most hawkish FOMC members are still doves, according to him. But I just wanted to highlight, I don't know, maybe the markets, maybe it had nothing to do with it. But if you look at the red line, this is, when the announcement happened, what do you see happen to gold? What do you see happen to Bitcoin? What do you see happen to essentially everything? And gold is going to be XAU. I probably should have said that in the beginning. XAU is going to be gold. XAG, not gold, is silver. Thanks, elemental table, stupid thing. All right, now I grokked it. I try not to grok things too much unless I'm like verifying background checks, just doing a little background research on people. Then I normally go to the source material. This time I did a rare DZ wonders what AI's opinion is. And I asked him, hey, research his economic policy ideas, identify what he's likely to do, go asset by asset. I gave a list: Bitcoin, oil, stock market, gold, copper, yields for the bond market, treasury market. So just cutting to the chase here. Bitcoin, right here. Bitcoin, likely positive to neutral. Oil, likely positive. Stock market, S&P 500, likely positive. Gold, likely negative to bearish. Copper, likely positive. Yields, well, this one's a little bit of a mixed bag here. Mixed for bondholders, hurts long duration bonds, but helps savers' income strategies. Essentially, they're saying long term, it's going to go higher. Short term, yields going lower. They're suggesting that, yes, Trump wants lower rates for the benchmarks, meaning, this is what banks charge each other overnight. He's going to do it. He's going to say, you got it. You went to school with my father-in-law. You didn't know Ron Lauder went to school at Wharton, the same as Donald Trump here. And so, yeah, he's probably going to listen to his papa. He's listening to papa. He's going to listen to Trump there. Now, TJ threw this question out, and I want to get chat involved. I'm going to read some of this. Does this guy look like a guy? Is he going to pump or dump our bags? Honest question here. Pump or dump? Let's do a little physiognomy here. Is this guy going to pump or dump? Type in pump, type in dump. What do you think this guy's going to do to Bitcoin? Because this is definitely a mixed bag of results. You reach into the Kevin Warsh opinion sack, and it's like reaching into a sack of fish hooks. You're going to get a little bullish. You're going to get a little bearish. You can't really choose what you're going to pick here. It's definitely a little bit of yays and nays when it comes to, is this good for Bitcoin? And it looks like first answer was pump. We got some dumps. He's going to plump your bags up there. Nothing burger to the crypto market. It's not a nothing burger to the dollar market. And because of that, I don't think you can say it's a nothing burger to the crypto market. The banks will dump it, not Warsh. Dump, if not Warsh. It might pump if it's not Warsh, potentially. That would be my prediction, at least. Looks like he's going to pump his bags. He's going to pump his father-in-law's bags. Estee Lauder stock is skyrocketing. I don't know if it is. I don't even know if it's a private company or a public company. The next capitulation happens before he takes office, so it'll be up after. That's a great take, and definitely a mixed bag here. Definitely a mixed bag. Someone saying there with Crank there. We also have DC. I think the next. Okay, I read that one. So mixed bag. Probably pump up though. We have some armchair analysis here. It's from Brett Eth, 25K followers. I've messaged or I've showed this guy's stuff. I'll give him the follow now. It's been a couple posts here. Trump thinks 5 steps ahead. If Warsh is his pick, he's well aware of the info below. Theoretic playbook. You appoint Warsh. The market corrects, which is what we saw, because they know his historic stance on hawkish. He's pro-quantitative tightening. He's anti-quantitative easing. He's anti-expanding money supply. And so step 1, he's appointed. Step 2, that's behind us. Step 2, markets dump. That's behind us. Now we're going into what's ahead of us. Powell gets replaced in May. The market has already corrected, meaning it's already priced in, that old meme. So Warsh has no option but to cut rates. And so when he comes in, he creates the scenario that he must fix. So just announcing him, the months before Powell gets replaced in May, causes that issue where he then has to cut the rates. And then the markets pump before midterms in November. And then they're saying, this will create a orange wave in the fall. Red wave. I should say red wave. It's not an orange wave. Trump's not even on the ballot. It's definitely the midterms here. But we'll call it the orange wave for the red wave for effect here. All right. I don't know how Trump reverses the current approval ratings. Almost too far gone. I think every president moving forward, and this is a trend we have seen, is going to have less and less neutral stances, meaning you're either going to hate or love every single person. So disapproval ratings will trend higher, and this has just been a trend that's been going on. Just because we have 2 movies on one screen, when there was only one news source, people kind of split things down the middle a little bit more. And now that you can kind of go look at different stations to amplify your own opinion, that's just going to be what you're going to see as a downstream effect of that. Now, here's some more analysis on Warsh. If Trump wants someone easy on inflation, he got the wrong guy. Here we chart his inflation assessment. One standout, and we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive in here. I'm not going to read all these. April 09, 7 months after Lehman, he said, I continue to be more worried about upside risk to inflation than downside risk. I have a couple more here. Let's see. Here's a Bitcoin statement. Bitcoin doesn't trouble me. Bitcoin's an important asset that can help inform policymakers when they're doing things right and wrong. You're going to have all the crypto people, all the other channels, all the other analysts out there. They're going to look at this clip. They're going to just run to the hills with this is bullish for Bitcoin flag. They're just going to be running. They're going to plan it like it's Iwo Jima. I think it's not that easy. I don't think it's that simple of a scenario to just guess like that. I think there's definitely going to be some downstream effects of his hawkish policy when it comes to inflation. Here's why he might be seen as bearish for Bitcoin. He has a record of prioritizing inflation risks during economic crisis and has a bias for monetary discipline. This is spooking analysts and spooking the markets. And we go here, his real interest rates, higher real interest rates. What does this mean? It means the actual cost of borrowing money after accounting for inflation is elevated. And so you're not looking at, all right, I take out a loan, it's a 5% loan. Okay. But if inflation is 3%, that means it's a real 2% interest rate there. Or if inflation's 2%, it's a real 3%. So it's deducing the inflation rate from the rate there. So when real rates are elevated, businesses and investors typically scale back exposure to risky investments such as Bitcoin. So this guy loves to focus on inflation. He worries more about that than a 10-year yield, a 6-month note, 20-year bond. He's more worried about how does this fit in with inflation as the backdrop, inflation as the denominator. Now, during the global financial crisis, that was the 07 to 09, Warsh repeatedly cited inflation risks, even as the global economy teetered on the brink of a full-blown deflation. For instance, this is the quote we just had. I'm still not ready to relinquish my concerns on the inflation front. And the one we were reading earlier, I continue to be more worried about upside risk to inflation than downside risks. Analysts are looking at this and says, this guy is a little too hawkish for my liking. And now we're seeing a lot of red candles in the market. I mean, we just look at this. So if we see some green today, maybe the market overreacted, but I think you can kind of look at this as, I don't want to say proof, but this is definitely a bellwether for where things are going to be heading here. Now, you're looking at it wrong though. Let's take a step back. Let's think about Bitcoin. Are we in a bear market? Are we not in a bear market? It's just a good way of maybe looking at it. You're looking at Bitcoin wrong if you look at the highs. If you look at the lows, it looks a lot better, folks. I'll just do the last 10 years or so. 360, 780, 3200, 3400, 3800, 2900, and then we finally get a down year, 15 and 16. And then if you look here, we went up to 40, we went up to 74, and even in 2026, it's 86K. Oh, wait, let's refresh that. And it's down. Now it's 81. Now it's 81. So a little bit different. 81, pretty close to 74. Decent odds that we are going to go below 74. So it might look a little bit like this, folks. We might have a couple down years. I don't know if we could do two, but I could definitely see us having one here. Am I ready for some cheaper Bitcoin? I grabbed more Bitcoin today. I did deploy a little dry powder. I was debating Chainlink. I'm debating Cardano, but instead on Cardano, I did a low leverage long. I am this close to, loading up on some more ADA after this USDC news, but I'm a little bit more of a degen. I wanted more exposure, so I did do low leverage long. I did put it in the Discord. And by the way, the Discord popping off hard. We got a lot of people still doing very well in there. And I'll probably show I'll show the quants trades in a little bit, folks. Now let's get back into the news here. Bitcoin now officially down 3.5% year to date. This would be the fourth straight down month. Not even after FTX did we have 4 down months. If you recall, when we were looking at this, gosh, what was this? Monday? Maybe it was Friday. It was literally on the brink because it was red, then it was green, then it was like we were literally watching the monthly candle at break even. This is probably around the 20th or 24th of the month there. So we go back. We got to be on regular candles, not Heiken Ashi. It's going to make me do this. Go to candles, go to regular. Now, I don't know if we can recover in the next, what are we looking at here? So what, 24, 30 hours. I don't know if we're going to recover in the next 30 hours. To get back into a green monthly candle, we got to get up to 87,600. I don't see Bitcoin going up to 86,000. We're probably going to have 4 down months. It's going to be 4 down months, Disco fam. We haven't seen that since 22. And you go 22 bear market. Technically, it didn't happen. That's right. It's Heiken Ashi. It didn't happen. Now, I'm about to put you on some game here. It depends if you do monthly or 4 week. See, you see 2, 2, 3, 3, go to 4 week. And so you might see people say, oh, yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, no, what are you talking about? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get your 4. It literally depends if you do 1 month or 4 weeks. So just put that into your feather cap there. Pull that one out. Pull that one out at a dinner party. That'll get people excited. Well, the actual thing about Bitcoin monthly candles is if you go to 4 week and then you get kicked out of the dinner party. All right. What do you think? Okay. So yes, we're ready for some cheaper Bitcoin. You did buy some more Link and Tau. Great prices. I still need more Tau. I am not ready with my Tau bag. I want more Tau. So I'm not ready to throw the Tau in on Tau. I couldn't help myself with that one. Let's see here. Good morning. Everybody smash that like button, by the way. I'm consulting the airways for a good ADA accumulation. I'm liking the current levels. We're going to pull up some ADA charts in a little bit. We're going to pull up some Solana charts. We're going to pull up some ETH charts. So if you do hold some altcoins, let me know down below. There is another one that somebody else was wanting to look at. I'm going to check that one out as well. Let's talk about some other reasons why we're seeing it draw down. Arthur Hayes just showing that the Treasury General account, this is the master checking account for the U.S. government. Look at it that way. If you're a teacher, I guess it's federal, but if you're a federal worker and you're getting paid, it's coming out of this. If you're Abrams NGO and you had 0 in revenue in 1 year, but you want to get $2 billion from the government for your non-governmental organization, boom. If Stacey Abrams, you're getting it from the TGA here. And so there was a huge fall in liquidity mostly by the rise in the government's checking account. And so they'll have an asset come to maturity. It could be a mortgage bond security. It could be a 10-year note. It could be a short-term debt. It comes to maturity. They sell it, and they'll buy it again. If they don't buy it again, the bank account goes up. When they're not buying it again, liquidity is falling. And so he pointed out there's a $300 billion fall in liquidity, mostly driven by the $200 billion added to the government's checking account. Now, the U.S. government shutdown is nearing, but now the markets are on edge. I'm going to go to Polymarket right after this. I'm curious, what are the current odds? Now, on Thursday evening, last night, Trump said the only thing that could slow down the country was another long and damaging government shutdown. He said he's working hard with Congress to secure the necessary funding. He went to a barbecue at Chuck Schumer's. They didn't cook the meat. It was this whole thing. But we do have a Nick Heather. I like my Knicks. He told Cointelegraph that Bitcoin's drop reflected tightening liquidity conditions rather than crypto-specific weakness. Heather added that when the Treasury rebuilds its cash balance, risk assets will pump. When it rebuilds its cash, the risk assets tend to come under pressure. Crypto, one of the first to react. When they start spending their cash balance, that's when you're going to start seeing the risk assets start pumping, folks. What is that? The DXY? No, this is silver. Silver dumped hard. I'll pull up my silver prediction. I was not super far off. I will say that when I called, the local, it was buried in one of my X replies, but I did put out a prediction. Now, we do have past shutdowns of Bitcoin's performance. Episodes of government shutdowns typically dent business and consumer confidence, delay key statistics, and raise questions about the U.S. fiscal outlook, often translating into higher volatility across equities, bonds, dollar, and crypto. So for Bitcoin, the immediate impact of a shutdown, higher volatility, not a clean trend. So if we're in an uptrend, it's going to swing around more. If we're in a downtrend, it's going to swing around more. If it was going sideways, it's going to swing around. Ha, ha, ha. The market's designed to wreck you. So we don't really have a clear indication. Higher, lower. We just know it's going to be more violent and a lot of liquidation wicks. So just be very, very careful out there, folks. Goes up fast, goes down fast. Classic blow off top. Yeah, talking about silver there. You letting your wife pluck your eyebrows. No, I need to. I shave. I'll tell you what it is. I shave my head, and one out every 3-4 times, I put the guard on. I trim the eyebrow hairs. You start getting older, they start getting a little longer. You start looking like Tim Draper. You got to do something, folks. Now, if you don't know who Tim Draper is, he's a famous Bitcoin bull. This guy, I said I wasn't going to I'm not making fun of his looks. I think it's just fair to say the man's got some strong eyebrows. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying he looks like an angry bird. That's all I'm saying. Let's look at the silver charts, though. I am interested. Where are we on silver? Got to pull it up here. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the chart. Silver commodity. 1 hour. Phew. Woo. Woo. Whoa, looks like it's putting another thing down. Went $4.08 a DZ. USDC can get it there a lot more quickly than you might imagine. But if there's a hole in this balloon that might let all the air out, it's USDCX. And it's all going to depend on the implementation of this related stablecoin. The best way I could describe USDCX is if you've traded ETH, you've also probably seen, if you're trading back in the day at least, WETH, wrapped ETH. There's plenty of places you couldn't trade ETH. You had to trade wrapped ETH. And so this is going to be a wrapped USDC. And so it really depends on the build out of wrapped USDC. How's that going to come out here? The coin shop's going to lowball you when you try to sell your metals. The price is too volatile. That is right, for sure. I mean, if I was a pawn shop, I'm charging under spot. That's for sure. If it's 122 ounce, I'm not giving you 122. If I owned a pawn shop, I'm going to say, let me call in my expert on that. My expert's going to come in. He's like, yeah, that's worth about $4. And they're going to like, it's $100 an ounce. And we're like, yeah, the best I can do is a stick of gum. And then that's how I'm running my pawn shop. No, shout out to Pawn Stars, though. That show was very, very popular. All right, let's talk about some hopium. I'm tired of the doom and gloom. Tired of saying everything's going down. I'm tired of fundamentals and technicals showing that it's going to go down. We have some technicals and fundamentals showing that it's going to go up. This is the 2-year market value to realized value Z score. It's just a way of measuring the value of the current market compared to the value of when the coins last moved. And so that's going to be the market value, today's price, versus the realized value, which is when they last move. Right now, it's the lowest it's ever been. I'd rather hold my bags to zero than sell here. I feel like that about Bitcoin. I'd rather hold it to zero than sell at this point. But if you look, when the Z score goes low, oftentimes it is basically right at the bottom, except for last time, except for last bear market. If you see last bear market, it front ran the bottom, kind of goes straight up. You can see, I actually think I can't tell. Maybe I could pull up a window here. I'm just using some ghetto tools. I'm trying to just like pull it up so I can see. It does look like it's pretty much right here. So we would have another leg down and then another leg down. And then that was basically the bottom. You are selling, let's see, this is going to be 100K. That's going to be 10K. This is a log chart, so it's hard for me to determine what the exact price is. We know this is 16. We know that's 20. So maybe you sold right before. I think this was like 26K. What was the flush? What was the flush before 20? Oh, that's silver. Go to Bitcoin here. So it is showing that maybe we're near bottom. Let's see. So there's the 16. There's the 20. What did I say? 26, 24, I guess 25. Actually, it might have been this. Yeah, it was this 29, but it did wick down to 27. And I guess it did wick to 25. So maybe this is showing like, all right, so we're right here at that very bottom. Now, you remember, though, that wasn't the Pico bottom. We're actually kind of past that Pico bottom. This is suggesting, I'm not saying, this is going to happen for sure. But when you look at the Z score, we're basically right here. We're basically, coming in at the 20K Bitcoin. Did it have another leg down? It certainly did. You could say this was mostly driven by exchanges, not so much driven by a true bear market. But I think a lot of people would say, what's the difference? It's a downtrend, bad things are happening in the news, then it's amplified by the market forces there. Now, another bullish news, Binance is buying, but what does that mean when you compare it to the last time they buy? Do they top blast like Michael Saylor, or are they buying the dips? Are they trading like a Justin Sun in 2017, 2021? Binance going to convert their SAFU reserves, $1 billion worth, into Bitcoin within the next 30 days. They're shifting their flagship user protection vehicle, the secure asset fund for users, from stablecoin holdings into Bitcoin over the next 30 days. So they're going to redenominate from stable into Bitcoin. The spokesperson said they're going to use our treasury reserves to top it up if Bitcoin dips 20%. And so if this $1 billion Bitcoin bag drops to 800 million, they're going to add more to get it back up to $1 billion. They didn't say anything. I looked at the press thing. I don't know if it's stable or Bitcoin. Let's cross our fingers, hope it's Bitcoin. Now, SAFU was launched in 2018, funded by a slice of the trading fees, designed as an emergency pot to reimburse users in extreme cases such as hacks or critical platform failures. 2024, they did shift from BUSD into USDC. That was, they say is some, what do they say? Maintain the fund's liquidity and reliability. No, it's because the US authorities said do this or else. So they did. And then by moving 1 million or 1 billion into Bitcoin, they would now hold about 12,000 Bitcoin at current prices, making them one of the largest single purpose Bitcoin denominated reserve funds in the industry. So in one fell swoop, they're climbing near the top of the list. Never fade Binance unless it's Aster token. Have they had another cabinet meeting over the week? Not sure. I could look into, was Eleanor Terrett. Eleanor Terrett's probably the best person to follow if you want to know like what happened in the last 4 hours. She's very, very on top of that. Anything in Bitcoin double bottom on the daily, November 1st. And today, let's look at the double bottom where we're at. Yeah, I mean, certainly is. But let me, it could turn into a BART. Eat my shorts, man. So this could be a BART. I don't know how does it go like this, right? Something like that. I'm drawing it upside down, so bear with me there. Oh my God, that looks like something else. That looked like something else, y'all. That was not intentional, I promise you. All right, so smash the like button for me, please, because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I know what I'm doing with the charts, but sometimes, things go a little off the rails, and that was maybe a classic example of that. DZ doing it again, but this this is a double. But if you look here, it was lower, lower, and then we really didn't put in a higher low until there. So this was a very interesting break in just a classical formation or something you would expect. Here we go. This is more like, like higher low, higher low. We flip the lower lows into higher lows. This is actually like a clean structure. This is just some, I don't know. That's a car wreck. I'm just kind of comparing bottoms here. I mean, this was just a consolidation bottom. But you could probably say, hey, you got a little double bottom right there. Did not get a BART. So Bitcoin's going to do what Bitcoin's going to do. I would be careful. Bitcoin's technical analysis, like it really doesn't listen to a lot of stuff. It might listen to this bear flag. We point out the bear flag a while ago. Maybe you'll listen to that. But I'll say for every technical formation, that's a classic technical formation that plays out, 4 of them don't play out because this has just been a very difficult to trade market for people doing the short-term trades. I think the longer-term trades a little bit easier here with Bitcoin at least. All right, so there you go. That's my thoughts on the double bottom there. 92K. I'm guessing some predictions. Was nominated as Bolus as F. What is this guy even talking about? His nomination had nothing to do with Bitcoin dumping. We never said it's the only reason, but I think when you look at this chart, some markets clearly cared about this. Clearly cared. And you can say, well, it has nothing to do with it. I mean, that's very, very coincidental. I think you must look at this and say it had some effect. To say it had zero effect, I think is maybe just being a little closed-minded there. Here, open them eyes. Open them eyes like a Simpson. All right, Bitcoin does not live in the matrix, fully managed by them. It's not fully managed by them. Kevin Warsh's father-in-law is them. Okay, he is them. He's him. Let's see. It definitely has some effect. Yeah, it had some. Let's not be binary. Okay, only the Sith deal in absolutes, except for the comment that I just said. Now, this is Binance's open letter. Hey guys, we're buying $1 billion. This is psychedelic. And follow this guy. I'll wait for one more. I think I've seen him before. Binance just announced they're going to convert $1 billion in stablecoins into Bitcoin after selling endlessly and waiting for 80K to tag again. Coincidence? They dumped the market again, and now they're going to buy it up again. Last time they did this, Bitcoin went from 16K to 60K. Go figure. Now, I haven't done the analysis yet to determine if that's true, but it sounds about right. I do want to say I remember them deploying near the bottom of the bear market. I don't know if it was 16 or 20. It was shortly after one of the exchanges went down. If you go into the comment section here, I'm going to hit refresh. I almost want to be careful here because it might get a little explicit for YouTube. Risky scrolls here. Risky scrolls. It's nothing compared to the wealth you extracted. It's like looting someone's house and then offering pocket money as compensation. Pathetic. You celebrate yourselves while ignoring the damage many users say they experience. Should I even have faith in Binance AI? Answer me, Overlord. In other words, when we dump Bitcoin, we will replenish the reserves with the profits we made from dumping. Let's see here. Adam, pulling up the Adam chart. This is an effing joke. When will you take accountability? They should be closed down. Explain 1010. Probably list of lies. Yeah, people. Look, I got nothing against Crypto. I like Crypto. Chris is a good guy. Leave Chris out of it, the thinker. That's funny though. So people obviously upset at Binance. I mean, you saw that. That was just a little bit of a canary in the coal mine of the crypto industry sentiment. Crypto users are mad at Binance. They point at them for a lot of the issues stemming from 1010. I think that's a fair assessment. Justin Sun, in response to Binance's call, like in response to the call, like it's the horns from Boromir and Lord of the Rings. Why did I do that hand gesture? Tron will also increase its Bitcoin holdings in the future. Do not clip that. All right, let's move forward here. Let's move forward. Crazy news out of Cardano. Circle and Pentad. If you don't know what Pentad is, it's the exorcism of Emily Rose. No. Pentad is 5 entities for Cardano. You got IOG, you got Emergo, you got Midnight, you got, I'm drawing a blank right now, but there's going to be these 5 entities for Cardano. They're basically stewarding Cardano into the future. Hello from Japan. This is a 9-minute video. I watched it this morning, or 7-minute. I'll probably do an upload on this over the weekend. I'll show you why in a second. I just signed the integration agreement for USDC-X on Cardano. Welcome to Cardano, Circle. We're all excited about the possibilities. More coming soon. And if you're wondering, it's the USD peg. What the heck is USDC-X? USD peg stablecoin variant issued by Circle, utilizing their X reserve model, non-custodial smart contract system, allows the creation of USDC. It's on Alio, Stacks, now Cardano, designed to be interoperable and fungible with standard USDC. Like I said, this is the wrapped ETH to ETH, USDC-X is to USDC. This could be one of two things. It could be interchangeable, like we largely saw with wrapped ETH. I mean, you could go to Uniswap, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you could trade wrapped ETH. There's several times I had to use wrapped ETH. I couldn't even use ETH. I have wrapped ETH dust on I don't know how many MetaMask wallets at this point there. So if it's integrated fully, this is great news. But if no one designs out for USDC-X, doesn't create any kind of liquidity, doesn't have any kind of cross-chain liquidity, this could be, maybe not much. But if it is a good thing, we're talking about huge pumps. Solana, if you look at Solana, let me go to crypto. I don't want Trade Nation. I want the spot. Give me that good old spot stuff right here. Solana's crazy move was driven by USDT and USDC. Oh, great. I love when I move my trend lines. Boom. We're going to just go look up the dates real quick. USDC on Solana. Let me pull that up. Give you the exact date. USDC was very bullish. Here we go. USDC on Solana. Businesses can operate. Just give me the date. Give me the date. I want to say, I know it's a very, very early in Solana's history here. I'm just going to say when. All right, late 2020. Announced October 20, launched shortly after. October 2020. So that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing the announcement. We actually don't even care about when it was actually live. We care about the announcement. It was announced October 20. October 20, Solana is, just so you have an idea, it's right here. That's October 20 for Solana. This period right here. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Boom. What did Solana keep doing? It kept dumping. That doesn't really seem like that's what should have happened. Would not start pumping until November 4th. Would then put in a lower low in December. But then after that, it was off to the races. And so is this going to be a trade to make today and, it's going to pump like crazy? Sure, maybe you get an initial green candle, but the markets are going to go a little too long. They're going to get a little too greedy and leverage is going to be washed out. And doing so is going to push Cardano to the downside. That's why I stress a low leverage trade on Cardano. I'm talking about single digits, okay? Single digits, not 10x or above. You got to be very, very careful with those type of moves. All right, so major news for Cardano, though. Other stablecoin news. We got probably the most popular live streamer on the planet. Paulo Arduino, I think is how you say it. He's the CEO of Tether, USDT, shared a video showing IShowSpeed using USDT for his big trip that he's doing in Africa right now. He shared it for his shopping trip in Nigeria. And so we're seeing a huge, this is tens of millions of eyeballs of the youngins there, of the youths. The youths love IShowSpeed. If you want to watch one IShowSpeed, look at him at WWE. In fact, it's so crazy. I have to show you here. This is probably look, I was a Twitch streamer in 2018. I Show Speed, when I remember when this guy hit the scene, he got popular for lighting firecrackers in his parents' house, like in his bedroom or whatever. It got really, really crazy. This is probably the craziest clip. You probably got to skip. I don't want to advertise Prime. He gets in some guy's face. Is that Randy Orton? Is that right? Tell me who that is. Is that a Randy Orton? It's gonna get really this is crazy, folks. This is the craziest I Show Speed clip ever, and just in case the sound was screwed up a little. That's not it. Okay, yeah, it's coming. Oh, that's not even it. Yeah. Oh man. They fold this man. I mean, they literally fold this man. They pull. Yeah, look up some I Show Speed WWE clips, and you will be like, "Yo, what the heck happened to that guy?" Apparently, they put him. This is probably staged, right? That's got to be staged. There's no way that's real. I don't know. It probably none of you guys watch I Show Speed, but your nephew does, your niece does. You know somebody who does for sure. And I think here we go. Has to be this. This is it. Oh no, this is and he then would not move for, like, a long time. There's fan cell phone video, there's a sickening thud. Alright, let's, get back into some bullish news for some altcoins, or bearish news, depending on how you look at it. We're talking about Ethereum here. Ethereum losing some support. Obviously, everything's down. It's down across the board here, but there was some I wanna share. It's this right here. This is Glassnode. This is the, net unrealized profit and loss, otherwise known as the Nupal chart. And this is showing 2017, 2018 bull run, showing the 2021 bull run, and it's showing the price right now. Do I have it right here? I have that chart. Other chart that they're showing, same chart we've been kind of showing here. Although they draw a straight line and they kind of ignore how it's lower here, wick lower there. They actually went straight line across, did not do this. We still have our target, and we still have our strong support around $2,500. New to the Discord, send my UID, but also new to Serious TA. Should wait to jump for the paid portion. Heyo, no, shouldn't be paid. It's just gate kept by the I or UID. And so once you get in there, that's when you'll get the crypto quants. You'll get all the quant trades there. And there's also just ask for help in the general chat or in support, and it'll answer all your questions there. Let's see here. Major leg bleed. Yeah, he had like he had a rug burn from the mat. No. We're not missing any super chats here. Let's see here. I'm just let's see here. No. Just give me a second, man. Give me a second. All sorts of failing projects. Yes, there is. CZ is trying to distance himself from Binance and CT. It's too funny. What is CZ doing now? What's that mad lad doing besides manipulating our bags? Is he really trying to distance himself? Bro, we all know you're Mr. Binance. You are Binance. Let's see. I'm pulling up his X account. Oh, wow. He quote tweeted Arthur Hayes. Listen to Arthur Hayes. If you read this guy's newsletter, there's very few newsletters where I'll have to do a little additional research. Like, I'm not fully aware of what's the thing he's harping on right now. It's the new way of saying it's quantitative easing without calling it quantitative easing, and it's related to their mortgage-backed security purchases. But there's a name for the program that has a P in it, and you're like, wait, why is Arthur Hayes the first person who's like named that program? So I'm like Googling it, and he'll go on like weird stuff like under, in Han China 1400s, silver was doing this and it did this for, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'll go, I'm like, oh man, the guy's right there. And he'll like tie it into 2026, and you're like, okay. So FUD, Binance, do not sell any meaningful amounts. My selling, I swipe my card. I don't run Binance anymore, but based on what I know, I don't know, but based off what I've heard from a little birdie in a tree, you were in the back. You were like in the corner. All right. You were pulling a James Comey. I don't know if you remember James Comey would like hide behind the curtains. You like hide behind a plant in the Oval Office. You're pulling it. We know you're behind the fern. You're behind the fern, CZ. They only could convert a portion of the revenue to pay for expense. They are a large net hoarder. global regulator now, review every trade and don't be misinformed. Don't be misinformed. I turned off comments. That's always a good sign. All right. So there's the ETH chart. The other ETH, the Nupal. Let's get back to the Nupal. Getting sidetracked here by CZ. Is bullish or bearish? I think this is a classic example of two movies on one screen. A lot of people are going to look at this at one way. A lot of people are going to look at it as a different way. Bear markets start with the Nupal hitting orange. Let's lead with this. Bear markets start with the Nupal hitting orange, typically. Nice qualifier there. This is 2017. It peaked in January 2018. Nupal hits, and then you can see ETH price. Boom. It's down. Boom. Bear market. We go to 2021. 2021, we actually don't even hit orange. We hit yellow. Boom. You could say we got a bear market. We go all the way down to like 840 or something like that. And then we started getting bullish again, and we hit orange again. But we hit orange right here. So you could say this is maybe the higher lows of the drawdowns on the Nupal. So you could look at it. You could squint like Peter Parker. All of a sudden, you don't need your glasses anymore. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Does that mean we're right here, not right here? I think there's an argument for that. But you could also say, well, ETH was suppressed by L2s. So no. We're definitely right here. But if you look at, maybe the double dip on the reds, maybe you could say we're in the middle. So we're not here. We're not here. We're right here, which is like, all right, we had a little dead cat bounce. We then pushed a little bit lower, and we only have a little bit lower to go. So it's almost like three scenarios. We're right here, meaning the bottom's behind us. We're right here, meaning the bear market is not even this is just a bear market for kittens at this point. It's going to get a lot more ugly. Or you could say we only got one more leg down, only one more push, and then the bottom is behind us. And so it's really, I think you squint hard enough, you could find the narrative that you want. I'll say this, it's not really a clear indication in my opinion, but I know people do love the Nupal, and it is worth checking out to say, okay, you know what? It is relatively oversold in the short term here. Let's do a little TA. Looking at this box right here, just going to be a high liquidity zone, point of control. You see is, definitely where it ended up right there. So after the dead cat bounce, I'm sorry, this is the bottom for a dead cat bounce for ETH. Bear market, it drew down from 48, $2,300. It fell $2,500 without any real meaningful bounce. And then it started a little support. Maybe this is going to be that one more leg push down. Maybe this is, that's the low that is behind us. This is going to be the tariff threats. Oh my God. I was looking at Microsoft this morning. Look at Microsoft during the tariff threats. Look at that. No. Yeah, that is it right there. Microsoft all the way down there. And Google is even crazier. So people are like, only talk about Bitcoin. Whoa, it's right here. Google, absolute runner. This was $144. It is now $326. This has vastly outperformed Bitcoin from the tariff lows. Every altcoin from the tariff lows. It is up 128%. So big gains for Microsoft right there. And I do want to check some options for you guys here. Actually, you know what? We are going to do that in the members stream, but you get a sneak peek. You are going to get a sneak peek. The copper, all precious metals are down. We are still in the green, but our oil's up slightly. So that's why we're diversifying. We're in copper, we're in oil, we're out of silver, did sell gold, we're still in palladium. And so we're just kind of watching the rotations. And in the member stream, I'm gonna break down an analysis that I think is going to be the key to identifying how to make money with these options. I think I've identified maybe just a past price performance indicator or metric that nobody's really talking about. And I think maybe it's going to be the difference between, are you getting these literally 30Xs, 40Xs, or are you going to get like a 2X or a 3X? And so stick around for that. Now, I'm going to try to shift while live. I think there's a way. I got to go into the studio thing. Here we go. I had to hit a particular button. And it's supposed to say I can change to members only. I'm looking for it here. Closed caption, blah, blah, blah. We do got some member chats here. Let me go ahead and read some of these. Appreciate all the members. I appreciate you guys showing all the support there. Let's see. If they're only making a few bucks a day, I hope they have a good day. All right, here we go. Love DC fam. I've gotten smarter, richer. My plan is to add more padding. I'm more confident. Pay attention. Change your life for real, for real. Thank you very much, Laserface. I know a lot of people who did join in on those options. They're way up on copper options. They're able to change their life a little bit. Thought on Circle Group stock, bro. I love Circle stock. The problem with Circle stock is it got beaten down by the Clarity Act not passing. Now we don't really have a clear answer on where this is going to be heading. The Clarity Act, that is. Oh, I was about to say, what the heck? That looks great. I might have to pull the trigger on some options. I pulled the trigger and then I got out after the clarity looked like it wasn't going to do anything. This might be time to start pulling some triggers. I would push it closer to the midterm. So, we're looking at like maybe July and then maybe do something. You're going to be able to get these really cheap above 100. Start looking at the 80, the 90, probably be a little bit more expensive. And if you want to get strikes, if you want to get, you're betting on the stock to hit $150 or $200, you could probably get those dirt cheap. I'm not sure which ones I would rather be in. It really depends on the market because some are going to be overpriced, some are going to be underpriced. So you really just got to play it that way, folks. You ready for me to switch? Yes. Go ahead and switch. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and switch to the members only. And I thank you guys for hanging out. See you guys in the future. Smash that like button. Keep an eye out on the Cardano video, folks. That's all we got for today. Have a wonderful weekend. Here. Still outlook on Arrow higher. I'm not trying to be funny. It got beaten down. It's also going to do well. It's really, really close to that generational buy zone. And I would say anywhere in this area is a buy zone. So I think you're fine. Here. I like this area. You guys have an awesome day, awesome weekend, awesome everything. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And I'm looking for it here. Add, share, bookmark. Stream settings. Latency. It might be behind. Outlook on Arrow. Okay, don't judge a coin. Hey, the book's coming soon, folks. So stick around. We are going to have the book coming. I'm going to be working on that this weekend as well. And I'm almost done with, in addition to the books, I've added 50 quotes that tie into every single chapter. Let's see. I'm saying just a troll DZ. Just kidding. Hey, I accept it all. Ask a real question, a fake question. We're going to answer all the questions there. And I'm going to walk you through it there. All right. I might just have to hit end. Privacy. Private? No. Privacy doesn't have members only. All right, folks. I might just have to do it this way. Save changes. I didn't make changes. All righty. It's our show for today. Thank you for hanging out. I'm just double checking. Make sure we haven't done it already. All right. Okay, so it's members only now. What, did it just kick everybody out? I don't even know how that works. I guess it's going to create 2 videos. I wonder if that changes everybody to live only. Or members only. Does anyone know? All right, now it's time to break down the options. The options market. DC, if you can determine that, whoever's back there, I think it's you, Aaron, potentially Drew. Just make sure if you're not a member, you can still watch the previous hour. All right, now to break down the alpha, since it's just us, I think those who stuck around can still watch, LOL. All right, well, I know it wouldn't work. I just want to put that on the record. All right, so Gonna do a little options plays. I'm gonna walk you through it real quick. I want to just kind of walk you through the thesis I think I have discovered that I don't think anyone else has discovered. I think there's going to be something to be said about chasing pumps with rotating metals. And I think the secret sauce to this is going to be looking at peaks from previous run ups. So if you look at the peaks from the previous run ups, I'm on silver for real, for real. Yeah, I'm on all. So I think if you do that, that's going to give you a potential window on when the other assets are going to pump. And so if you look at the last time silver pumped, it's kind of like looking at Bitcoin and ETH. Not so much today, but back in, previous cycles, the cycle before that, the cycle before that, Bitcoin would pump and then ETH would pump almost like exactly 1 month later. It was almost like clockwork, and it happened multiple cycles. People were like, it can't be that easy. And then come 2024-ish, it stopped being that easy. But there's a long period where it was that easy. Bitcoin, ETH, these markets are a lot harder to trade than average markets, than the stock market, than the precious metals market. Maybe not silver so much, but it's always been the case, really. And so I think you can look at when silver peaked in 11. Let's go to the weekly here. Yeah, 11. Yeah, when it peaked in 11, just look at the date and look at the other precious metals. So this is going to be the 25th week, or the day of the 25th. So let's just say the last week in April. Last week in April 2011. This is palladium. Oh, let's go back to the weekly. Remember, last week in April, palladium. So this one front ran it February. So maybe palladium is a little bit of a laggard. Huh. So you notice palladium peaked a little early, but that wasn't its peak. Whoa. See, this to me, whoa. April, man, this would take years. 575 weeks. Yeah, that's 11 years, right? Yeah, I guess I could go down. All right, so that entered a multi-year bull market. So I would say this, maybe you got to just look at it peaked before. So that I would then look at today. So is that what we saw today? No, silver peaked. Silver peaked. So let's take us to copper. Let's go back to 11. All right. This is so weird. Another time where it peaked ahead of time. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait. Why am I missing months? That's super weird. You tell me you couldn't trade copper? You gotta tell me you can't trade copper? This is futures. Let's use this. Okay. So I have not gone past 15 years on the copper markets. Get back on weekly. Okay, that's another one that doesn't go back far enough. Maybe I need to do CPER. Gosh darn it, that starts at 2012. Okay, let's go back. We're all learning live here. Maybe this one's going to have it. Again, let's see. No, that's the one we looked at earlier. We got one more. Like, if I just type in bonds, is that going to make it tighten it up? And then we have another missing period. Why do I feel like I'm like scratching at the surface of a conspiracy here? I could just type in the XCU. Is that going to, will that work? Nope. Nope. They ain't going to do that for me. Okay. Okay. We maybe back engineered it. We maybe figured out the hack. All right. That worked. All right. Finally. You sitting here. God, I feel like I'm Ben Cowan messing around with TradingView here, like typing in fucking into the URL and shit, basically. Excuse my language. All right. February. So again, all of these peaked before silver. So now we're finding the 2011 peak does not give us clean data. And so now we need to look at this right here. August 20. So now we're coming in after an economic event. This would peak August 20. This would peak April 21. Now we're getting some good data. August 20. You could say May. I guess you really need to say March 22. So now we got a little bit better data that supports that palladium is going to be the better runner here. I think palladium. All right. So I feel like I have learned something today. Let me kind of just explain my thought process. I am bullish on copper. One of the main reasons I'm bullish on copper is the copper price priced in gold. But now I want to look at palladium priced in gold. Is this gonna? I haven't seen anyone bring up this chart. I haven't seen anyone talk about this chart. Palladium priced in gold is down 75%. I'm about to go hard on my palladium stuff. Gosh darn. Now, the question is, has the palladium stuff pulled back? The ticker is PAL. All right, so we took profits on this. This is something I gave you a while ago. I said this is where supports it can head. Oh man. So now we're gonna have to do some crazy stuff. Now we're gonna have to do like June, July. I should have just diamond handed my palladium, is what this is telling me. You know what it was? I was just trying to get dry powder to buy more and buy more. And I think a famous investor once said, let your winners ride. Let your winners ride. This is the member stream. Get raw. Get raw. All right, well, folks, that is our show for today. That's our member stream. I am going to exercise what I have learned. Maybe look at some palladium options here. If you want, I could just walk you through it. You just type in PAL. You go here. It's going to say trade options. Right here, trade PAL options. And then I would want to go, like I said, at least July. I guess it's June and September. Okay, so you can't go out past that. I like September. And then these, you should be able to get some crazy stuff, right? PAL right now, it's 161. Man, oh man, these are way up. Yeah, everyone's betting on these. So you got to go the shorter time frames to get some alpha. Yeah, I mean, that position's just one share or one entry into it is going to be $670. Of course, we went with the March. What was that dollar amount? 220. 650. We got out at like 450. So you know what? I'm not too mad. It's like, all right, did I want to chase that next 30, 40% move? I'm trying to get other 3Xs and 4Xs. I'm actually not super mad about that. Now, this one probably just went nuts. This one's probably insane. Let's add this to the watch list. We'll go down to the watch list. Sometimes it takes a second. Oh, this one just opened because it's no, it's not. Oh, it's 290. Okay. This one was just butt. God, so crazy. This is a very illiquid one. And so if you're trying to buy it at $1.73, it's going to shoot up to $2, $3. It's worse when you try to sell it. You try to sell this at $3.45, they're going to try to give you literally like $2. And so probably you want to stay away from the illiquid options. And that's going to be the ones that are very close and the ones that are just very unlikely. A lot of people aren't going to want to trade that. But folks, that's our show for today. I'm going to work on this Cardano USDC X. I got to do some investigating, see what the heck that thing is. That's all I got. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Stick around for this ad from Marculus. Actually, we're cutting it off because this is the member stream.